Stop living your life one movement away from injury and start trusting movement again. Now, most people really focus only on their body when they're trying to fix their back, but the thing that they're missing is that their mind plays an absolutely crucial role. It might actually be the most important part of this whole thing. Simply put, if your brain is wired to expect pain every time you move, it's going to keep you stuck, even if nothing is physically wrong anymore. Now, this is video 7 of my 12 steps to overcome chronic back pain and get your life back. This is the same system that's helped me solve my chronic back pain, and it's the same system that's helped hundreds of others inside my coaching program, the Body Rebuild System. In this video, I'm going to teach you exactly how to do that. But if you're new here, my name is Darcy Koss, and it's my personal mission to help people solve their chronic back pain. So if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button so more people just like you can see this message. Today's video is about step 7, and that's developing a recovery mindset. Okay, the first big idea here is that you need to make a shift. That shift is, hey, I'm broken, to no, I'm healing. If you've been stuck in chronic pain for months or years, it's super easy just to believe like, hey, my body is broken. The evidence shows you that every single day. But that belief might be doing you more damage than the actual initial injury ever did. So here's what I want you to understand. You're not broken, you're rebuilding. Now, making this shift isn't just fluff or like woo-woo stuff. It's actually backed by science. One particular study published in Pain Medicine found that people who believed in their healing had 30% better outcomes than people who didn't. Another study in Frontier Psychology found that a growth mindset lowered pain distress by 35%. So simply put, this isn't just about how you feel. It's truly about what your brain believes so that it can tell your body how to feel. Because your nervous system is like software. It's running the I'm broken program, or it's malfunctioning software. Because when you're stuck in that protective mode, it's going to keep you tensing up. It's going to keep you amplified in pain. It's going to keep the muscles tight. You're always going to be on edge. And that's how people get stuck in the pain loop. So here's a wild example. This absolutely blew my mind when I found out. It's called phantom limb pain. And you're like, what the heck? Well, phantom meaning it doesn't exist. People get their foot or their arm amputated, and they wake up and they still feel pain, even though there's no arm. And simply put, that proves one thing, at least in this conversation, is that pain does not exist in the location, but rather it exists in the brain and the nervous system. So now imagine how strong that pain signal can get after months or even years of it constantly being triggered through things like flare-ups, stress, fear, and simply put, failed attempts to actually fix the problem. Your brain gets so good at producing pain, it doesn't even need a reason anymore. It just runs that same program over and over again. We do this movement, we get this pain. So what do we actually do? Well, you use your conscious mind to rewrite the program, and you catch these beliefs when they show up. So when you get that thought being like, I'm too broken to fix this, or I'm just simply broken, say, no, I'm actually working on myself. I'm rebuilding right now. And then if you're thinking, hey, I'm broken, nothing ever works for me, or I've tried everything, you can think, well, maybe I just haven't tried the right system or the right protocols yet. So you need to say it, even if it feels weird, every single day, out loud if you have to. You can say, I'm healing, my body is learning, and my brain is catching up. Because the second you can stop seeing yourself as broken, your brain will stop protecting you because it doesn't need to. And then you can start to see movement as an ally, as something to help you, not a threat. So this is the first step to rewire your brain towards recovery. It starts in the mind, and this cascades out to everything else. So if this idea of a mindset shift is resonating with you and you want some guidance on how to do that, grab my free back pain solution below in the description. In there, I'll walk you through the mental and the physical foundations towards healing. Like I said, it's in the description, so go grab that right now. The next big point here is to use visualization to train your nervous system. Now that you've shifted from, hey, I'm broken, to no, I'm rebuilding, now it's time to give your nervous system a new map to follow. And that's before you even start to move. And that's where visualization comes in. Again, this is not fluff. This is all backed by real science, real studies. So studies show that just simply imagining movements actually activate the same neural circuits as if you were doing the movements in real life. So your brain actually doesn't know the difference. And as a result of that, you can actually learn things without actually physically doing them. In fact, research published in Frontiers in Human Neuroscience found that this mental rehearsal can actually improve motor function by up to 30%, which is mind-blowing. The crazy thing is, even patients who are recovering from stroke see the same benefit of 30%, which strokes are some of the most damaging things you can actually go through. And if they can get benefit, imagine what you can do with your chronic back pain situation. This exact same principle has been shown in pianists who can practice their notes in their head and then they can actually go and do it in real life. And of course, in athletes who use visualization to remember plays and movement patterns. So your brain doesn't always need your body to move. It just needs that consistency so it can build the neural patterns so that you can be more confident to move. And the exact same way that your brain laid down these neural pathways to set up the chronic pain that you're in now, you can actually do the opposite and undo that work and set new neural pathways. And then you want to link those neural pathways to movement in safety and control. So here's exactly how I use this in my own recovery. Before I could comfortably bend over, run, or do any activity, I would just lay down, I would breathe, I would feel my body, and then I would imagine myself doing specific things without pain. And I mean specific things. Things like bending over, hip hinging, cleaning, getting up. At first, it was a little bit silly, but I used to play sports and I remember doing that when I played basketball. So I thought, hey, why not give this a try? I heard it's effective. And then I started to notice something over time. The more vividly I can imagine myself moving pain-free, the more that when I went to go move, there was less fear around the movement. So here's your action step. I want you to sit or lie down, or even when you're lying in bed before you go to sleep, I want you to slow your breath, feel your body. And then I want you to pick one movement that you know causes you pain or that you're fearful because, hey, it might throw your back out. And then mentally walk through that movement step by step, total control, and feel yourself, or I should say, imagine yourself not having pain and doing it with ease. So even doing this just a few minutes each day will start to build up those neural pathways so that you can start to see the benefit over time. Remember, your brain and your nervous system is plastic, meaning that you can actually change its composition. And if you teach it how to move calmly and safely, it's going to learn how to do that over time. Even if it's only in your mind, it will help you build trust in your body and in movement again. And that's how we lay down that new pattern. It all starts with your mind way before you do anything with your body and your muscles. Okay, the next big point here is to reframe your negative thought pattern. So this is the last big piece of this entire puzzle. You need to learn how to catch these negative thought patterns of saying, hey, I'm broken, so that you can actually intervene and start to impose positive thought pattern. Because let's be honest, if your brain is constantly thinking, hey, I'm making this worse, I'm never going to get better, or every time I do this, I get a flare up. And as we discussed already, your nervous system's going to stay in high alert, more tension, more pain. You're always going to be on edge. But here's the thing, your thoughts are not facts, but if you just keep repeating them over and over again, your brain will believe them. And the more you feed these stories, the more you build that pain loop. It gets stronger and stronger. So instead of automatically just accepting all your thoughts as true, you need to start asking yourself some key things. So something like, is this thought actually helping me or is it keeping me stuck? You can start to think, well, what's a more useful way to look at this rather than catastrophizing? Or you can say, what would I tell my friend? Or maybe if I was coaching someone, what would I say to them in this moment? So here's an example. If you always have flare-ups and you tell yourself, I always have flare-ups, you could start to say, okay, I'm going to think about this differently. You can tell yourself, hey, yes, I've had flare-ups, but I'm actually in the process of learning how to move and think about my chronic pain differently. It's not about just like lying to yourself. It's about speaking to yourself like someone who cares. It's about self-compassion. It's about talking to yourself the same way you would talk to your child or your friend or someone you love. When I was at my lowest, when I was sleeping on the floor, when I was medicating, when my leg was paralyzed and I didn't know if I would ever get my life back, this was one of the most powerful things that I was able to do. At first, I was worried and I would just think the worst thoughts. But eventually I stopped and I said, you know what? I have to make the shift. I have to think about this differently. Otherwise, I'm never going to get out of it. And once I decided I wasn't going to have surgery, there was only one way out. And that was to actually go about getting better. So I had to believe I could get better. And that all started with the thoughts in my mind. So I started talking to myself differently, not with fake positivity, just like rah-rah pumping myself up, but just being realistic and being honest with myself. And at least not talking negatively, but just saying what things were happening right now in front of me. not catastrophizing. The biggest shift I made when I started to see a little progress is on the back of my phone screen, on the back of my computers. I wrote, never take your health for granted. And this was a reminder to myself to always think forward about the work you're doing and how you're getting better and how you will be better. And by not taking my health for granted now, I would be doing the right things every single day. Well, that's a great idea. But if you can't actually even catch the thoughts from happening, or you don't even realize they're happening, then you're not going to be able to reframe the thoughts. So this is where meditation became so powerful. Now, I was a long-time meditator before that. I went even deeper during this process. And what this allowed me to do is actually catch myself thinking. It didn't necessarily allow me to escape the pain, but what it did do is it allowed me to observe the pain without judgment. It allowed me to catch those mental habits that I was reinforcing every single day, and really to build a very strong mind-body connection as I was going through this whole process. Because let's be honest, once you can sit with yourself, you can pay attention to your thoughts, you can feel your pain without overreacting to it, you're actually able to stay calm rather than acting like pain is an emergency that you have to overreact. At the end of the day, you stop panicking and you stop reinforcing the fear. It was probably the number one tool that allowed me to start being realistic and tackling the pain and shifting my mindset. Simply put, I stopped fighting my body and I was able to work with it. You'll hear me a lot of times say pain is a message, not an enemy, or it's a friend, not an enemy. Well, you have to be able to listen to that. Instead of numbing it, you have to listen. And if you can't even sit with yourself, it's going to be very hard to listen to the messages that your body's telling you. So just to recap, first of all, we stop calling ourselves broken. We shift our mindset around I'm broken to I'm rebuilding. We use visualization tactics to practice our movement in our mind and build those new mental maps without causing any sort of pain to our body. And then we tackle the thoughts that we're telling ourselves all the time and we reframe them to positive thoughts, to realistic thoughts. We reframe them so your brain can stop reinforcing negative thoughts and can start focusing on freedom. Because when you change the way you think and you change the way your brain responds to pain, this is when everything will start to happen for you. This is how you free yourself from the chronic pain. So this is just one piece of the puzzle, as you know. In the next video, we're going to talk about how you can pull it all together and actually start to move in real life so you can build confidence and remove the fear. So this video is part of my 12-step series to help you solve chronic back pain. So if you found the video helpful, make sure to subscribe and like the video. And if you're thinking, hey, I really want to get started right now, but I don't know what to do. As I mentioned, I have the free back pain solution course that's below in the description. So just click the link and grab it. It's my gift to you so you can start your healing journey. And if you're thinking, hey, I would really like to work with you one-on-one, and I'm wondering what that would look like, you can see a link below to book a call with me and we can get on a call and see if you're a good fit for the program. Okay, I'm out and I'll see you in the next video.